Hi gang, this is Coach Chris. Excuse me here, technical difficulties. Talking about opening up the Fat Loss Playbook today. Talking about a calorie is not just, I don't know if you can see this or not. Calorie is not just a calorie, and also how biology is a booger and works against you. First of all, these two topics really coincide. A lot of people in the nutrition and the diet industry, and understand it's a huge industry, lot of different programs out there, and most of them will work for a short time. But about 95% of people who lose weight gain it back. And part of it is they don't understand some of these a little more geeky, sciencey information about weight loss and how your body works against you. So when I talk about biology being a booger, just recognize most people want to create a caloric deficit when they want to lose weight. A lot of people go overboard at New Year's, before a vacation in the summer or the spring, so they increase their activity level. They may have gone from hardly working out at all to doing an hour a day, and also reduce their calories by 500 to 1,000 calories. Well, in the short term, they're going to lose weight, but their body learns to compensate, okay? And they may just be eating what they used to eat, just smaller servings of it. I knew somebody who dieted and she'd get a child's meal of McDonald's. There's a lot of talk about lowering your calories, losing fat to balance your metabolism. I personally am a believer is balancing your metabolism first, and then it'll make it easier for you to lose fat. So when people come to us at Personally Fit or contact us with our online nutrition coaching, we want to make sure that they're not necessarily reducing calories, not at least trying to, but are balancing their metabolism by eating less processed food, so more whole foods, eggs, chicken, fish, beef, plenty of vegetables, the whole spectrum of colored vegetables, some fruit, and some non-refined starches like sweet potatoes or potatoes or brown rice or quinoa. A lot of this stuff really will balance your metabolism over time, especially if you're over fat. Now, I've been talking to people who need to lose 25 or more pounds of fat. And one of the things we do is we want to do that with a diet. Unfortunately, that diet we go on and we go off. So like I said before, nearly every diet will work in the short term. But if you want to lose weight and keep it off, you need to learn to balance your metabolism. And then losing weight becomes a lot easier. And like I said, we do that by eating more whole foods and really cutting back on less processed foods. Where does exercise fit in? Well, if we over-exercise, our body rebels again. Just like reducing calories too much, if we over-exercise, our body does something called adaptive thermogenesis. And basically, our body compensates. It slows its metabolism down so you can't keep losing weight. And if you're doing this with a lot of cardio and big calorie reduction, you're going to lose some muscle mass along the way. Remember old muscle mass? He's a good guy because that is what keeps us healthy, keeps that metabolism high. The more muscle mass you have, the higher your basal metabolism. That's how many calories you burn at rest or even doing day-to-day activities. Muscle is active tissue. That's a 5-pound model of muscle, and you can see how small that is compared to a 5-pound model of fat. So we want more muscle, but Coach Chris, I'm afraid I'm going to get too muscular. How many people do we know are too muscular? It's a pretty small amount of people. They have genetic predisposition for it, and or they're taking something extra, or they've worked really hard at getting big and strong. At 55, I worked really hard at gaining muscle. And I'm probably maintaining most of the muscle, but my metabolism is pretty high. I'm able to eat a fair amount of calories and stay relatively lean, so that's important. So metabolic compensation or adaptive thermogenesis, that's how your metabolism works against you if you're trying to lose weight. One of the things so many people do, they're chronically dieting. They're going on one diet, they gain their weight back, go on another diet, gain their weight back, go on a 6-week program they bought off of TV that requires them to work out 6 days a week. Can't be sustainable. When they go back to their normal eating habits, they regain that weight back. And often, because they've overtrained, they've lost some muscle, so their basal metabolism has come down. So that's one way that your biology is a booger. The other is your hormones get out of whack too if you're eating a lot of unprocessed or a lot of processed foods. So people who want a diet and still eat a lot of processed foods, just go to any store. Look how many foods are diet foods, low fat, low sugar. They don't help, or they're sold to as healthy foods. And we talked about cereal last week. There's healthier cereals, but honestly, cereal for most people is not really going to do much for us. So it's not going to help us get leaner. It's not going to, other than giving us calories. And usually they have to enrich it with vitamins, give it vitamins, so to make it healthy. And look at one of the nutrition programs sold on TV. It's all your favorite fast foods, basically, or junk, high-calorie foods that are made low fat, low calorie, smaller serving size, from lasagna, and nothing wrong with having lasagna once in a while, to hamburgers and French fries, to pizza. Guess what? You're going to crave that food the rest of your life. So one of the other things to do to help balance your metabolism is control what Jade Teta, who is a great fat loss specialist, calls HEC: your hunger, your energy, and cravings. If you're constantly hungry, your energy's low, and you have cravings, you're probably dieting too hard or over-exercising. So you need to eat the right foods and eat enough of them. So again, when you come to Personally Fit or get on our online coaching, we don't want you starving. We want you eating more of the good foods. As Coach David, my oldest son, would say, we want you to have somewhere to go when you first create a caloric deficit. And we want you to be able to eat the most you can and still lose fat. So you should have energy. If you're dragging around, that's going to be hard. Okay, that's really going to be hard. Now, there are other nutrition plans that don't want you to exercise much. Walking 20 minutes a day, protein foods and veggies, very little carbs, and you will lose weight on that. And periodically putting that in your program probably is going to hurt you. But you want the benefit of muscle, so we want to eat enough to support that muscle mass and keep you from losing it. Okay, so that's really important. So biology is a booger, and it's going to work against you. You reduce those calories too much, increase your activity too much, create a big caloric deficit, your body's going to be screaming for more food. How many of you done that? I sure have. That's what I used to do during wrestling season. And then you'd have these big binges and then have to overcompensate by running 2 extra hours a day or something, and then start the process over. And yeah, you'd lose weight, but after the season you'd gain it, and also you'd be miserable. Again, controlling that HEC is important. If you're eating enough wholesome food, not over-exercising, but exercising, you can control your HEC. Hunger, give yourself energy, and control cravings. So that leads to the next topic. A calorie is not just a calorie. Not all calories are created equal. Well, Coach, I like eating junk food every day. I want to have a donut. I'm going to just control my eating habits, eat about 1,200 calories, and then have my 300-calorie donut. So I have 1,500 calories. I'm still on a calorie deficit for the day. That may be true, but what does that 300-calorie donut do for you? It creates cravings. So again, we're looking at our HEC, hunger, energy, and cravings. It does not, you're not satisfied with one donut. You're not happy after just eating that. You're going to want another one or want one the next day. It creates those hunger cravings. So highly processed foods, especially things that are salty, sweet, or high fat, or a combination of all the above, a donut's a perfect example, will create that cravings for those foods. So it'll be hard to not want those again the next day, or the next day, or have another one the day you allow yourself one on your caloric deficit. So think about that too. So not only does that mess up your hormones, your hunger hormones, but it kind of bypasses any satiation, because donuts don't fill you up. Ice cream doesn't fill you up. And I'm not against somebody who can control their weight having some ice cream or a donut once in a while. But those of us who have been fighting the battle of the bulge, want to have a cheat meal or a cheat day, some of us can do that successfully. But a lot of us can't. If we've sustained a long-term caloric deficit over time, we're eating, we're taking care of ourselves. Sometimes when we eat that donut, that cheat meal becomes a cheat day, which becomes a cheat week. And we just have cravings for these, what they call hyper-palatable foods that are really salty, really sweet, and really fatty. So I'm live right now, son. So we really want to watch what you eat, those processed foods. People will say, Coach, you're so disciplined, you don't eat dessert. And honestly, I tell them, it's not because I'm disciplined, it's because I'm not disciplined, because if I eat that dessert, I'll want it again the next day or that evening. So you really have to pay attention to a lot of that. So not only are your hormones working against you, especially if you've been heavy before and you've been dieting for a long time, off and on your whole life, if you eat processed foods, those calories really make you crave more of those. So the less cravings you have, the better off you're going to be. Well, at the beginning, eating less processed foods may seem kind of difficult. Eggs, chicken, fish, beef, vegetables, smorgasbord, some fruits, and then some healthy starches. But you know what? You will not be hungry when you eat those things. You have a couple eggs, a piece of bacon, a whole grain piece of toast, and a little bowl of fruit. You're pretty satisfied. Whereas if you have a bowl of cereal, in an hour, you're hungry again, okay? If at lunch you have burgers and fries, you might be satisfied for a while, but you're going to get hungry again. But if you have maybe half a bun and a side salad, you're going to be pretty satisfied. So the less processed foods, you're going to do much better at controlling your hunger, all right, and giving you energy and controlling your cravings. And honestly, if you saw my kitchen here, you'd see I have nothing on the counter except fruit and little cherry tomatoes. Keeping that food out of sight is one of the best things. Also, I'm a messy by nature. This is something people don't know, but having a mess around you, my house is spotless. My wife keeps her house really clean, but that raises anxiety. Anxiety usually makes you want to eat if you're a person prone to overeating, and I am. So these are all things to pay attention to, some of those external cues, your hormones and biology working against you, and making sure the calories you do eat are satisfying to your metabolism, give you energy, and make you feel relatively full, okay? Again, I mentioned the eggs for breakfast, a lot different than having a Pop-Tart of the same calorie value, okay, or a couple Pop-Tarts or something like that. So pay attention to all that. So we talked about your biology being a booger and calorie not always being the same. Makes a big difference where you get your calories from. Think of where you get your calories from. They should not only help you lose fat, if that's what you're trying to do, they should be helping you build muscle and your metabolism, okay, and improve your health. Don't you think if you're losing fat properly with exercise and proper nutrition, all your biomarkers are going to improve too? Your cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, all these things should improve. So this is your challenge. It's before Thanksgiving. I don't want any of you to give up and wait till the New Year's to get started again. If you're not exercising, start doing something. 20 minutes a day of some walking, some body weight push, pull, squat movements, okay? If you're eating a lot of processed foods, let's replace those with other foods you like that aren't processed. Eggs, chicken, fish, beef, plenty of vegetables, some fruit. Make a list of all the foods you like in those areas and write them down and go shopping for those. And then learn how to cook those and prepare those and keep those available. Because if they're whatever you have in the house is what you're going to put in your mouth. So make things available that you like and meet that criteria. So this is what Coach Chris has for you today. Think about controlling your heck, eating foods that do that, hunger, give you energy, and control cravings. And try to get rid of some of those processed foods that do cause cravings, that don't do much for you nutritionally. What does a donut do for you? I don't think there's anything other than tastes good and virtually melts in your mouth. So that's what I have today. Please comment. And if you want more information on our Pro Coach system that we use for our online nutrition coaching, please let us know that. Tell us yes, we'd like some information, and somebody will reach out to you, and that'd be great. We'll also post this on our Personally Fit Coach on YouTube, but it'll be on our Facebook here at Personally Fit. Please comment, share this with your friends if you think it has any bearing on and can help them. That would be great. Remember, do not starve yourself. Don't stuff, don't starve. Create a slight caloric deficit that you have to maintain and balance your nutrition with less processed foods and more whole foods. Okay? This is Coach Chris. Have a great day.